get set. We're riding on the
Clueless
Internet, cyberspace, set free. Hello, virtual reality.
Interactive appetite, searching for a website, a window to the world, got to get online.
Take a spin, now you're in with the techno set. You're going surfing on the
Clueless
Internet.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Clueless Internet podcast. I'm joined once again by my co-host Howard. We enjoyed a special episode last week. If you haven't watched it, or listened to it, should I say, I would highly recommend it if you enjoy the 90s.
And how dare you for not?
Are you ready, Howard, for another week of facts, fakes, and fuck-ups?
I am ready.
Well, without further ado, let's get into it.
Bum, 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 bum.
Bum, bum.
Bum, bum.
Sit down and shut up. Today, I learned. Shut up. Shut up. I learned. Sit down, be quiet. Shut up.
Okay, Howard, welcome to our first section of the podcast, Today I Learned, where I've gathered 4 facts for you today from across one subreddit on Reddit, Today I Learned. Are you ready for our first fact?
I am ready.
The first one is, today I learned about the most boring protest ever watched.
Oh, we learned about a really cool protest last week.
Yeah. To be fair, yeah. Well, this story is about Charlie Shackleton. The article actually says his name wrong. It's like or something like that.
Like.
His Twitter says Charlie Shackleton. So either he's changed his name in the time or they have got the complete wrong person. And this is a story about how he protested against the British Board of Film Classification, the BBFC, in 2016. Have you heard about this one? The BBFC in 2016.
Boo-boo fuckface. Oh.
Vuvuzela.
Okay.
Have you heard about this story before?
No.
Well, this came after the BBFC, the BBF, rated The Diary of a Teenage Girl in 2015-16 as an 18, which was described as...
it's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie.
I thought you just meant some girl's diary.
Yeah, no, it's just some girl's diary. That's awful. 18. It was described as being unfairly punished for feminine sexuality. So if you haven't seen The Diary of a Teenage Girl...
Dare you?
It's set in 1970s San Francisco, where a precocious 15-year-old Belle Powley embarks on an enthusiastic sexual odyssey, beginning with her mother's current lover, Alexander Skarsgård.
What?
I don't know if that's actually the name of the character or the name of the actor, because I know there's a Skarsgård who plays Pennywise in...
There's a few Skarsgårds. I don't know if they're second generation or if there's...
I think they're a family, aren't they? They're a family of actors, I think, Skarsgård.
Possibly
sort of like Sheen.
Yeah.
Well, so after this rating came about, Charlie created a Kickstarter titled Make the Censors Watch Paint Drying. So, can you guess how many people backed his Kickstarter to create this masterpiece?
Rough guess. Everyone?
686 people. Everyone, essentially.
Enough people to make them watch paint dry.
They rate. Can you guess how much they raised? I'm making you work for this section.
I'm not going to say they hit the million. I'm going to say they hit like 500,000, 600,000.
£5,963. $8,486 if you're in America.
Come on, you could have done better than that.
Well, this was to create the 10-hour and 7-minute classic, Paint Drying.
Wait, that cost £5,000 to make?
No.
I could have made that for a tenner.
No.
I could have made that for a tenner.
No. That's not where the money went. The BBFC charge per minute for viewing. So meant,
they got 5,000 minutes?
No. Which meant £8.51. That Line was the name that it put on the article. But it was, what was it again? Shackleton. So they had to pay £8.51
per
minute. So
okay, so did they hit their goal then?
Yeah, well, it was just however much we raised, that's how long the film will be.
That's clever.
So if they would have raised $1 million, it would have been forever.
Yay.
But so every £8.51 tacked another minute onto the runtime, adding to the 10 hours 7 minutes. I was amazed not just by the amount raised, but by the sheer number of people who got involved from all around the world, said Charlie.
Who wanted to inflict pain on these
Pain
people.
on these people who don't probably deserve it.
Take my money, make them suffer.
I wasn't sure whether the project would mean much to people outside of the British film industry, let alone outside of the UK, but censorship seems to be a fairly universal concept, sadly. I have heard that China is probably one of the most strict countries when it comes to film censorship.
I haven't heard that. I know it.
It's censored. I've never heard that, as it has been cut out of all of my media.
No, it's very true. They're in fact, like films, some games, things like that are entirely changed for, like, characters will be changed. So like if there's like a gay character or something, it might be changed for a completely straight character. Like, oh, no, they're straight. Okay.
Oh, we'll just pop that one in there. Just swap him out. We've got this
They
one
changed
pre-made.
their mind. It's all right.
It's not Michelle, it's Michael.
But they're not the only country that does that. Australia and Germany are typically bad for video game violence, so you can't have blood in a lot of their games, so they'll have that completely cut and like sparks or, I don't know, glitter will come out of people.
I want to play that version of Mortal Kombat.
There was a game recently where they censored it so badly that the people just kind of stopped. And
was that
floated
Fortnite?
away.
Oh, I know Fortnite, when
remember what it
people
is.
die in a certain region, they just sort of freeze, wave, and then
That's
fall
it,
to the
that's
floor.
the one. Yeah, you told me that. Oh, fucking hell.
It's so great. I know Australia's quite strict when it comes to games as well. I don't think they change much. I think they just more ban.
Oh, they're
Straight out.
very strict.
Charlie said that the process of submitting the film was actually very smooth and polite, so it was worth the 5,000 some odd pound.
So they loved it. They lapped it up. They were like, "This is the perfect movie. Nothing happens. It's amazing.
I don't have to watch it.
It universal. Everyone can watch it. Everyone should watch it. We're going to put it in every cinema on every screen.
We're going to sit down and watch it next
that's
episode
when
of the podcast.
And that's when the plan backfired.
Charlie started an AMA after submitting this film. So if you don't know what an AMA is, it's an Ask Me Anything. A MMA. He MMA fighted all of the commenters. He answered a few questions, so here are a few. How many times have you watched the film in its entirety? And Charlie replied, to my great shame, I have not watched the film in entirety.
There could be the odd penis in there. I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't make it. How long did it take you to decide on the colour of the paint? His reply, brilliant white. Felt like it had a certain Tom Sawyer charm that matched the simplicity of the premise.
That is a lack of colour.
That's nothing.
That's a shade of brightness.
I wonder if I don't know if he actually painted the wall or he just filmed the wall that was already painted.
I want to think that
they
just
that he went
threw
through
a
with
bunch
it.
of paint on the floor, and then because it was all just water and shit, it never really dried. They had to sit there the whole time, and the crux was that they never actually got to see the paint dry.
Damn it!
They made them sit there for the whole time.
What a clickbait
no
title!
paint dried.
What a clickbait title!
This is what I am hoping.
Did you sneak in any questionable material in a few frames to ensure that they did watch through the entire material? His reply was, anyone who's seen Fight Club knows the appeal of subliminal flash frames. BBFC examiners have definitely seen Fight Club, so hopefully they're asking the same question you are and are watching closely to make sure they catch anything untoward.
And hopefully they've seen my penis.
You just see there's just a murder scene in between.
Oh, that's the wrong photo.
Oh no!
That were supposed to be my junk.
My junk. Gross. Honestly, and somebody asked, honestly, do you think it will have any meaningful impact? He put, depends what you mean by meaningful. Obviously, my little protest isn't going to single-handedly eradicate film censorship in the UK, but I do think it can help combat one of the most powerful things that the BBFC has on its side, tradition. The board has been censoring films for 104 years, so far as anyone living is concerned. Everyone dead.
Everyone else?
Everyone
Why
dead.
do you even bring them up?
It just went for 300 years. It's just the way things are done. If a new organization came along and wanted to censor literature or music, there'd be uproar. But tradition makes the BBFC look like a natural part of a landscape. If this project encourages people to debate the status quo, whether they're with me or against me, I'll be happy. So he's just trying to bring awareness, really, to the amount of censorship. I don't think I've ever looked into the things that have been censored so hard.
During, especially, when was this?
This was in 2015-16, so not too long ago.
In the 80s and 90s, there were, I'm trying to remember the lady's name. I think her name was Mary Whitehouse. She was an old biddy lady. She somehow got, I think she might have been one of the causes for the start of something like the BBFC. She basically got a bunch of films either banned or censored, like one of the famous ones that was banned at the time was Clockwork Orange, I think.
Has it been released since?
Oh, yeah. Like most of the films that were banned at the time, like I remember one my film tutor in college showed us Driller Killer.
What an awesome name.
Which
New
was a
name
trip
for the
about
podcast.
a man who killed people with a drill. There's a particular name for them. I think they're called movie nasties or film nasties or something like that. I think that was coined by the people who wanted them censored and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think there's a box.
What a tame name.
I think there's a box set you can buy of them essentially.
Oh,
you can
nice.
get all the evil, the Satan films of the 80s and 90s. And
I think I know what our next binge session is going to be. The Driller Killer. I like that one. When asked about their reaction to receiving paint drying, the BBFC spokesman said that the submission was received and scheduled just like any other submission. Examiners are required to watch a very wide variety of content every day, so this didn't faze them, they said. Two BBFC
it was a nice
examiners.
break, to be honest.
Well, yeah, they probably
Very
ordered.
pleasant.
I'd order pizza and I'd probably bring in a second screen just to play Fortnite or something.
I'm feeling very zen.
I would not play Fortnite. I would probably want to play Minecraft. Watch paint dry while playing Minecraft. I can't think of anything more.
Tell you what,
Amazing.
compromise. Let's watch Minecraft dry.
Oh, whoa. Two BBFC examiners took 2 9-hour days, so they had to do 9 hours on the first day and then an extra hour on the second day to watch and rate the film. A U. So it got a universal, so
they
everyone
basically
can go
just-
and watch it.
They basically just did their job.
Yeah, they just did their job.
And we're like, all right, there you go.
With Charlie tweeting the official U rating it received with the caption, £5,963 well spent.
At the same time, they could have made this so much harder to, like, they could have actually, like, the execs probably weren't that bored. It was probably a nice break from the regular rigmarole of what they have to do. They don't have to sit through potentially awful films. Like, this film is objectively going to be boring, so you kind of go in with the mindset of, yeah, all right.
You know what's going to happen though, so
You don't have to
you
do
don't
any
have to
work.
focus on it really.
You don't have to do any work. Apparently, he slipped some subliminal things in there, but apparently they either didn't.
Hopefully he did.
Either they didn't get caught or they were completely tame. In which case, why were they completely tame? Make them as hard to judge as possible. So what you need to do is create a series of scenes. It doesn't have to be expensive, but a series of scenes that are increasingly difficult to judge. So moral, ethical, questionable things. The way you have to actually go, how do we actually rate this? And then, oh shit, now this new scene compromises the whole rating system. Have a go start, and then have them just like constantly jumping through hoops.
So what he has to do is flash Neil deGrasse Tyson tweets subliminally in between.
And just see the enraged people.
Yeah, it just comes out
I just want to watch my film.
21 plus or something. We've invented a new rating for this paint drying. It's horrific.
I just wanted to watch Interstellar without Neil deGrasse Tyson's input. Jesus Christ.
Please. Well, with that extremely boring protest, let's move on to something a little more interesting. Today I learned about the gamble of a lifetime. This story...
This is a man who started gamboling and could not stop.
He went on for
Through
years.
the fields and trees and...
Cows. This story starts where all great stories do. The pub. Ashley Revel was drinking with some friends in 2004. When the topic came up of travelling to Las Vegas and betting everything you had on one spin, which would be very exhilarating. It would be very exhilarating, I have to admit.
Were they actually like being serious, or were they just shooting the shit?
We had one of those drink-fueled conversations that seemed like a good idea at the time, he said. Then the next day I thought about it more. It got under my skin. He was single and had no kids, so it was now or never, essentially. He had no responsibility. Well, he probably had responsibilities, but he didn't have anyone else to support, really, other than himself.
Just me and my legs.
Pretty much every stage, everyone I knew said it was just a stupid thing to do, he said. My mom obviously said it was a silly idea and that I should be settling down. My father was exactly the same.
But we also want you out the house, so off you go.
Bye.
Las Vegas, was it?
We'll buy the ticket. We've packed for you. We've already got a few bags ready. But Ashley actually began to sell everything he owned. He had 10 grand saved up.
Yeah.
He had a Rolex. He had a BMW and golf clubs, which all had to go. He auctioned off the larger items and...
How much did he make?
We'll get to that. He auctioned
Fucking better.
He auctioned off the item. This is just the end of the story here. He just auctioned everything and never won. He auctioned off the larger items, and for the smaller valuables, he attended car boot sales just to make sure he squeezed every penny out of himself. He sold things like his first 11 football cricket jumper, so his first 11 score cricket jumper, and 2 football ties.
I have no idea what that is.
I may have typed that wrong. I hope it's school ties.
I really hope it's just a tie with printed football on it.
It's just a white tie with just football on the front.
What do you mean 2p?
They are the three items I most regret selling, Ashley said. After 6 months of selling, he was ready. At this point, Sky had caught on and started filming his journey. So you'll probably be able to watch this, actually.
Yeah.
If you manage to get a copy of that. In 2004, 2005, you might struggle, actually.
Could always look at the archives.
And with this, he headed to Las Vegas with nothing but a tuxedo that he'd rented. Heading to the Plaza Casino and Hotel, he wired over £76,840 from the UK.
Jeez.
He gathered all his chips from the casino and headed for one of the blackjack tables. At this point, I didn't know
I
whether...
thought he was going for a spin.
Well,
Shouldn't roulette be the game?
Oh, it should be the game, actually. Oh,
He's never gambled before, has he?
I think I may. I'm hoping that I've made these mistakes so they're not in the article.
Spin it for me, Jenny. These are cards, sir.
Spin it.
Just spin the card.
You heard me.
It just spins the card. And you lose.
It was the same. What
Nothing happened.
At this point, I didn't know whether I was going to go for red or black. I still hadn't decided. I was hoping for some sort of divine inspiration.
Am I just ignorant?
But it didn't happen. What did you say, sorry?
Am I just ignorant? Is can you bet on red and black in blackjack?
I think he did mean roulette. I think he did mean a roulette table.
Well, I'm not angry.
I am.
I'm just disappointed.
I'm horribly angry because
I'm disappointed and filled with rage.
There's only 2 things that could have gone wrong. Either I typed blackjack or the article had blackjack in it. There's only one of us to blame. I'm blaming the big corporation. When Ashley got to the table, the dealer explained, "Look, when I spin the ball, if it goes round more than 3 times before you say red or black,
she going to spin the ball?
It's a no bet."
Shouldn't she spin the
wheel? Yeah.
What's this guy doing?
What is this article?
So I went to Las Vegas.
I spun a ball.
I spun my ball.
I spun my balls on the blackjack table.
Needless to say, I lost.
Needless to say, I won.
Nope.
A trip to prison.
Free.
The first thing that came into my head was red. So I just pushed all my chips forward. That spin was the most amazing moment of my life. It is cliche, but time did stand still. It was just complete calm. because I had done
Unfortunately,
all the hard work.
it didn't stop forever. At some point, I had to lose.
Everything he had sold. He had no possessions. He had decided red was the colour.
Come on, you Reds.
The ball sort of bobbled around and then landed in what I thought was red, but it disappeared slightly from view. As the wheel spun back into view, there it was, resting on number 7, black. No, I'm only joking. It landed on red. Yes! The people around him erupted into cheers. Somebody ran in with a bottle of champagne, and everyone was celebrating, and everyone clapped. My friends and family were there, going wild.
Wait, no one wanted to support him, but then they were like,
But then they were all there for when he wins.
can't miss this. This is going to be hilarious.
I can't imagine how awkward it would have been if he would have lost.
Everyone in the casino cheers and his family just, boo.
You suck.
You're supposed to lose.
I'm glad I filmed this. Just the Sky guys going, yes. It was just a crazy time of complete happiness. Can you guess how much he won?
How much did he put on?
Well, he put 76 grand
6
on.
grand on. And what was it? Odds were red.
Red.
Red, so 50-50. Is that odds? It's 50-50, isn't it? Yeah, because it can land on
Oh,
red
yeah,
or
because it
black.
would land on either.
Fuck, I
So he
don't- I
would,
can't remember how much
essentially
you get
double
for
his
that.
money. So he got
Yeah.
150,000, 153,000.
And then he...
Gambled it all away on black and lost it all. No, he didn't. Today that would roughly be £231,782
So
41 pence.
Pretty tidy.
So he won. So he got a nice little windfall for himself. What did he buy with the money, you may be asking yourself?
I bought a Hot Wheel.
A trip round Europe on the back of a motorbike.
Oh.
That was it. That was it.
Is it-
That was it.
So
No, I
I
think
was going to say, he's this crazy impulsive person who then just goes, well,
that's it.
let's not go mad.
I just bought a
It's not
motorbike
completely insane.
trip around Europe.
I
Think I made of money
I bought a croissant.
on the way. I was a bit
Um,
peckish
I dropped it.
in my mouth.
Still ate it.
On that trip, I met a girl in Holland. I took her back to England with me. We married.
I just
and now
took
we've
her.
got
She's
2
mine
children.
now.
Yeah, come on. You could say I have my bet to thank for finding my wife. I'm not sure if they're still together, but I hope they are, and I hope he's happy with his 231,000. He probably didn't spend that much on that motorbike round trip
Yeah.
to Europe, so he probably got a tidy bit when he got back. But that's the end of our story for our good friend Ashley, who's won a lot of money, and if he's still got some, can I borrow a tenner? Well, with one economic powerhouse, let's move on to another. In Today I Learned, America used to be the China of the world.
Wait, what?
So, currently China is a huge powerhouse economically, which we know.
Well, the US manufactured a shit lot of stuff because they had a shit lot of resources. Well, we manufactured a lot of stuff because we had a lot of resources, which we then, squandered.
But that doesn't come with scandals. But that doesn't come without scandals,
That does not come without sandals.
That does not come without sandals. Put them on. Over certain products, such as, according to this article, poisonous pet food, toothpaste laced with antifreeze, scallops coated with putrefying bacteria,
Who was asking for these?
counterfeit diabetes tests,
Oh,
and pirated Harry Potter books. The worst of all.
I think my favorite is counterfeit diabetes.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, that sounds pretty.
And by favorite, I
bad.
mean,
Oh no.
oh no.
But sacrificing standards in pursuit of profit is not unique to China. A century and a half ago, another up-and-coming nation had the same mindset. The United States of America, where literary piracy, adulterated foods, and willfully mislabeled products were the norm. Back in the 19th century, the US was the corner-cutting, fraudulent capital of the world. So, just America was the China of the world at this point.
They basically made all the dud stuff that China makes now.
But from what we've heard, it may be a little bit worse. Instead of seeing this as maddening, irresponsible, and dangerous, this is just from the article, and I think it's a good point. Instead of seeing this as a maddening, irresponsible, and dangerous, we should be looking at the current day China with its fast and loose brand of commerce as a phase in its development. Granted, this article did come out in 2007, so it has advanced since then.
It's only got worse.
But it's only gone deeper into the ground.
Thing is, when America was doing, and this isn't excusing them.
It was a long
when
time
America
ago.
did it was a long time ago. We didn't have we did have global politics, global economy, all that kind of stuff, but it was much harder. There was latency in trying to get anything done.
We didn't have the same level of communication that we have now, and the same level of like staying on the same page.
Yeah, now we live in a world where we can essentially exist like all the sci-fi races, like the Borg and stuff, where it's obviously we don't have to go to the extremes of the Borg.
But we're in space.
But essentially, like, we can share our knowledge, we can give advice, we can essentially kind of sync up as a planet, but everyone is too resistant to doing that.
Yeah, I could literally pick up my phone and call someone in China or Japan right now.
And go,
whereas you
stop
couldn't
doing
do
that!
My diabetes results are what? Even roughly 170 years ago, other nations were mortified by America's trade practices. So
I'm kind of still mortified by them.
So
I'm looking at you, America.
You may have heard of this man, Charles Dickens, who visited in 1842, got off the boat and found bookstores full of pirated copies of his novels.
Oh!
Dickens would later hold lectures condemning the practice. He's like, yes, I've been waiting to use that for so long. Thank
You're all
you,
getting
America. So, Dickens would later hold lectures condemning the practice and wrote home in outrage. My blood is so boiled as I thought of the monstrous injustice.
Unfortunately, someone pirated the letters.
This is from Chills Dackins. In the 19th century, the US was in its infancy of capitalism. They took a page from the British tradesman a generation or two prior. So this was sort of what we would have done here a generation or two prior. So technically we were the China of before. And
well, we just kind of pass it on.
yeah, well, you got to. It's like Chinese. It's like, is it Chinese whispers?
Well, there's a weird thing with society, civilization, where as the society gets more advanced and there's more services and stuff provided, so like the idea that like if you eat meat you don't have to see it being killed or anything, all that stuff. Like you don't need to learn how to provide food for yourself. Like
we've never probably learnt that.
Speaking
for myself, I could say.
So as countries get more civilized or larger in their society, certain jobs tend to become less
frequent,
wanted, less affluent to people. So
because the production ramps up, so you need less people to work on it. Essentially,
it gets more efficient, but also less people want to do those jobs because they're like, well, it's kind of handled. So America, over time, even though people complain about it now, like, oh, China's going to be the new America, it's going to be the new world power and stuff. It's like, well, we created it,
and which would be great.
We basically went, here's all our manufacturing. Can you do it? Oh, fuck this.
And then China will just move on to somebody else.
And then we went, China's taken all the manufacturing from everywhere. I don't understand what happened.
Why?
Now we've got no jobs.
No, my diabetes test.
Thanks, China.
Now I have diabetes. So they took a page from these tradesmen a generation or two prior by bulking out supplies with cheap filler and using dangerous additives to mask spoilage or to give foodstuffs a more appealing colour. A committee formed in Boston in 1859 ran a food purity study and found the following. Candy was found to contain arsenic and dyed with copper chloride.
Arsenic was found to contain candy. It's crazy.
Conniving brewers mixed extracts of Nux vomica, which sounds horrible, a tree that yields...
Sounds like rip-off vodka.
A tree that yields strychnine.
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 I think that's something that affects the nervous system. I think.
to simulate the bitter taste of hops. So that was in their beer.
Oh my god!
Pickles contained copper sulfate. Custard powders yielded traces of lead. Sugar.
I mean, back then everything had traces of lead. I'm not gonna lie.
My lead has lead.
This lead isn't pure enough. I want more lead in this lead.
Delicious.
And why haven't you put lead in my milk?
What is wrong with you? Are you uncivilized? I love my teeth
Purify that
being
milk
missing.
now.
Sugar was blended with plaster of Paris, as
Yeah,
was
it was.
flour.
Why is this cup of tea gone solid?
Oh. Milk had been watered down, then bulked up with chalk and sheep's brains.
Oh my, nice.
100-pound bags of coffee, labeled Fine Old Java, turned out to consist of 3/5 of dried peas, 1/5 chicory, and only 1/5 coffee.
Fucking gravy.
Is that not how you like your coffee?
That's exactly how I like my
Thick and
coffee. With no fucking
frumpy.
coffee. They just stick any old shit in there. It's fucking sawdust, bit of my dandruff.
Asbestos.
Asbestos?
Might as well.
Why didn't you say something?
What
We've got
else?
plenty of it.
What else is fucking lying about? Just trim
My
off a bit of...
shoes are made of it.
There's a towel over there. We'll grate whatever on that off.
Have you seen this new uranium toothpaste?
Oh, it glows. Glowing reviews.
My fucking jaw fell off.
Aye. After the Civil War in 1861 to 1865, America began to export many goods to other nations. The practice began to be reformed very slowly. Well, this started to become reformed with a few of the scandals that followed, with one of the first international scandals involving Olay margarine, a butter substitute made from an alchemical process involving beef fat, cattle stomach, and for finely diced cow, hog, and ewe udders.
And if we're in America, this is called margarine.
And
Not
butter?
margarine.
Margarine.
Margarine. Thank you.
Margarine. Is that for us or is that for
That's
American?
America, yeah.
Margarine.
We say margarine.
The greasy counterfeit, as one critic called it, was shipped to Europe as genuine butter, which led to a steep decline in the butter exports in the mid-1880s, causing some entrepreneurs to buy up actual butter from Boston, put counterfeit English labels on them, and ship them to England. So they would buy them really cheap, send them to England as English butter, and that's actually quite... That's fine because that's actual butter, so that's okay. Apart from them falsely labeling
They
it,
were shipping us
real butter.
real butter, and they were feeding their own people shit slop.
Yeah,
Nice.
probably. Well, they shipped that shit butter to us as well, but we didn't want to buy it, so it just declined the demand for it. So obviously their real butter was really cheap, and so they made a lot of profit by shipping the real butter labeled
I think
as
at
England.
some point we outlawed margarine as well in this country.
Did we?
I don't think you can't buy margarine anymore. I don't think.
Oh.
I think there's products out there that say margarine, but they're butter.
Oh.
Essentially, or a vegetable substitute.
Very dangerous. Very dangerous butter. But this had nothing to... So if you think that's bad, this had nothing to do with the meat packing industry, however, whose scandals included deviled ham made of beef fat, tripe, and vile byproducts.
Nice.
Sausages made from tubular pork, and if Upton Sinclair...
All I could think of was the song Tubular Bells and someone like hitting tiny sausages with a mallet.
Don't think it would have as satisfying of a sound. And if Upton Sinclair, an author at the time, is to be believed, lard containing traces of the occasional human victim of workplace accidents.
Excuse me?
Scares
One
over
moment. Un momento, por
scares-
favor. What?
So people who had just fallen fate to mishaps in the workplace was included in your sausages if you lived in the 1870s, 80s, 90s.
They're made of people.
Delicious.
Delicious,
Bring me
delicious
more.
people.
Where's the lead? Scares
Give me the lead gravy.
So the coffee. Scares over beef infected with lung disease. The most notable scandal, however, was in 1879 when Germany accused the United States of exporting pork contaminated with trichinine worms and
What the?
cholera.
Cholera.
Cholera, sorry, not cholera. I'm so bad at reading. So they were infested with worms and cholera.
Oh dear.
Which led to several countries
Being
to
dead.
boycott American pork. Well, technically, yeah. Well, if they shipped
Well,
over
if you
pork,
fucking-
killed everyone, they could just go over and build America 2.0.
Here's your sausages.
I mean, here's your lead sausages. Oh, delicious! I've been waiting.
Here's your work. Here's your sausages.
Your workplace sausages.
One giant shipment of sausages.
Meat. Of
Bon
some sort.
meat.
Well, then we move on to the literary industry, where America was an outlaw in the world of international copyright. Publishers were happily pirating books without permission, without paying the authors or original publishers. Like, they just didn't pay them a dime. When Dickens published American Notes for General Circulation, a scathing review of his visit, it was immediately pirated and sold across America.
Brilliant.
Well, then we move swiftly on to the counterfeiters of patent medicines, where they would buy empty bottles, fill them with God knows what.
Sausages. Apparently everything's all about the sausages.
Just the packets made of sausages, the glass is sausage.
Here's your medicine.
Don't eat it all at once. I mean, take it all at once.
Careful of the worms.
Buy. Here's a fake number. And then selling them as respected European brands. So they just filled it with whatever. Just, oh shit, we've got some drainage down there. Whack that in.
Just stick some candy in there.
I'll spit
But the
it.
candy's full of arsenic.
Perfect.
Wait, just put the candy in
great.
there.
And by 1905, business leaders were testifying in Congress that the federal government could do much toward preserving the reputation of US food abroad, making them more trustworthy and more profitable. Which does work. So if you trust trade from another country or you trust a brand, you tend to buy it more, don't you really? Like, I've had a lot, I know definitely for me, I've had a lot of you see sort of these Amazon products that are just the same product essentially, but rebranded in different kinds. But then if you find one that works and you've bought a few products from them, even if there's a little bit cheaper elsewhere, I'll probably still go to that brand that I know actually supplies me good.
We know that a lot of the time, that thing that you're buying from that brand, you're going, oh yeah, it's brilliant. A lot of the time, unless it's a really large brand, a lot of the time it's just like something that's been manufactured in one plant and then been shipped out with a bunch of different logos on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
you could be buying utter shite from your favorite brand.
Yeah.
Luckily, unlikely with big things like PlayStation, they're clearly
Apple,
developed for one
Samsung.
specific reason. But
people who can afford to copyright their designs, companies.
Trademark, because
Trademark,
copyright doesn't necessarily protect that. Trademark copyrights your intellectual
That's
property.
right. Sorry, yeah, trademark. You can trademark your products and stuff like that. Whereas some of these brands where you see the same product with different logos on tend to be individuals actually selling that, because you can drop ship stuff. If you didn't know drop ship, maybe have a look. It's a very interesting thing, and don't trust companies essentially.
or do.
And moving on to other
people.
people we don't trust, politicians. With the UK elections.
Why do you say that?
Coming up, with the UK elections coming up and the US elections coming up next year, I thought this would be quite a topical.
We're coming up to the big shit show of 2019-2020. It's gonna be amazing.
My next birthday.
Roll up.
Today I learned bees have better politicians than us.
Of course they do. They have better everything than us.
Everything. Better channels on the TV, better games.
They
better
produce
everything.
They produce honey. We produce poop.
They're the China. They are the China of the animal world. So in spring, beehives become overcrowded with new little baby bees and honey. Little baby bees and honey. This causes the hive to split up.
Yeah.
Like the way that he put it in this article, it sounded like it just overflows
just goes,
and then it just explodes in half. So, but they just split up.
They start dividing their resources and moving to a new tribe.
So some bees stay in the current nest with a new queen bee, while the other half leave with the old queen to find a new home. Yeah. But how do they find a new home, I hear you ask? Well, where
do they find a new home, Alex?
Well, as I hear you ask, Cornell professor Thomas Seeley says they don't just follow the queen, as she isn't in charge of this decision. The decision is made collectively, bottom up, and is done by voting.
Well, I suppose if you're going to do things democratically, which is kind of a weird thing that we just analyze that happens in nature. If you do things democratically, of course, you want to do it from the bottom up. You want to know the worker bees are going to know the best, most efficient place for the hive for their work, essentially.
Yeah.
The queen bee,
because they're the ones that are going to go out and get the flowers and everything.
Yeah, the queen bee basically is like, as long as it's warm.
Yeah, as long as I got somewhere nice to sit and breed, I'll be a happy camper. He describes them as being natural democrats. And being shaped that way by evolution. Plus, they have a secret ingredient, which I'll get into later. So, the way this migration works, there are about 10,000 bees who need a new home. So, 300 or so of these bees create sort of a house hunting senate, made up of the older, more experienced bees. Once they have found somewhere suitable, they start to dance.
Awesome.
This lets the other bees know how to get to their new home.
What I do when
That's pretty much everyone
I figured
does.
something out. Yeah,
I stand outside of work doing a dance. It's known as the waggle dancing. This dance will be performed multiple times depending on how much they like the new place. So the more they like it, the more they dance.
Oh, so it's kind of an opportunity for dissent. So people can say, so if people just don't dance, then it's a bit of a vote?
Yes. So if not many of them dance or they don't dance that much,
and it doesn't gain the repetition everyone's hoping for, then they move on and look for a new.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
awesome.
So this is like the 300.
Why aren't we doing this?
Why aren't we dancing at political events?
Yeah. Fuck the voting. Fuck the polls. Fuck going in those little stalls. Everyone just get out in the streets. We'll get helicopters in the sky with cameras, and we'll just count how many people dance to when politicians say we're going to do this thing, and then everyone just goes. No. And then they go, we're not going to do this thing. And then they go, all right, next. Oh, everyone's cha-cha-chaing.
Oh, brilliant. We'll instate that one.
This guy's doing the robot. Inconclusive.
Kill. Terminate.
Violently.
With other dance moves.
I have spoken.
Well, thinking about that, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
I'm keeping it. I've lost it.
Well. So this... I've already said that bit. So there is a diagram of this dance actually in the article if anyone wants to try and...
I want to see a video. If I can find it. I'm going to look for a video.
We'll have to look for a video after this. Now comes the democracy part. If the bees don't particularly like the scouted area, they do about 10 repetitions of their dance, which is called the ho-hum dance. So if they don't like it, they just go, it's all right. They do the two-step.
They're just lackluster. They don't put the effort in.
Yeah, they just do the two-step without the little twist. But but if they really like it, they will do a 300 repetition dance, the elm tree dance. This is what he's coining them.
Yeah.
So this is how they vote. They dance more for a better spot, as we just said.
Nice.
Until the hive collectively picks a suitable home. So I don't think it has to be everyone agrees with it.
A majority.
I think you can have sort of dissenters, but I think if it's a majority...
Well, if they're following true democracy and they don't have the subconscious, conscious split of the brain that we have, then they probably don't really have ulterior motives other than success.
Yes.
So they basically just go, well, okay, that's how it goes.
Yep. This is a really nice place.
I'm not that into it, but everyone else seems to. I'll give it a go.
And they always seem to go in the corner of buildings for some reason. Oh, have you seen that video of the there was this video of this house. It was just covered in beehives. And you just have to burn the building. I'm sorry, you'd have to burn the building. These people were going in and
it's theirs now. Just give it to them.
You just see Trump towers or something just covered in bees. Like,
Why have they
that's
got
it.
it? But I'll just be like, no, it's theirs. Just there.
I think what they do is they probably go in and move them because it might be somebody's actual residence.
Fuck them. Bees are so much cooler than people's.
What cool roommates. I just get a few occasional stings.
On the eyeball.
Oh, but as but what if they have a stubborn bee that likes a place so much, but the other bees don't? Well, here comes the secret ingredient that we spoke about earlier.
Kill him!
Well, Professor Seeley says, in the world of scout bees, you don't have die-hard bees that just dance and dance and dance forever. He believes this is because no matter how hard they dance and how much they like the sight, once they are done dancing, they stop caring. They just cut off caring.
Yeah.
He believes there's an internal neurological process that causes every scout to gradually and automatically lose her motivation to dance for a sight, even one that is high in quality. So even if the place is so amazing, that they do the 300 repetitions, everyone does that. If it doesn't unanimously get voted, they just stop caring about that place. They don't hold a grudge. So they won't get to the next place and go, I'm not dancing for this.
It's kind of a rule of democracy that and free speech that in a room of 100,000 people, the most important voice, no matter how much you disagree with them, is the person who is considered the dissenter, someone who disagrees with the room. Because if everyone in the room agrees, then you haven't really got anything important to do. You just kind of agree and go, okay. If someone disagrees, even if you vehemently disagree with them, that's the most important thing to happen in that conversation, is the fact that someone's actually disagreed and gone, oh, okay. So now we have to pivot on, do we do anything about, but you have to essentially stop the room and listen to that person, because otherwise it's not democracy.
You get deeper into the conversation as well,
Yeah,
because you
and they
see
might
points
say
that you may
something
not have thought of.
completely abhorrent, and then a lot of people would say we shouldn't have given them a platform. It's like, well, no, you let them say the abhorrent thing, and then you all go, and that's a cunt, and you go, well, we don't need you. Bye.
So, this thinking is built in, says Seeley. He calls this the retire and rest hypothesis. Well, it certainly helped things along if there are no frantic bees or insistent bees or principled bees gumming up the march to consensus. Those fanatics, Seeley points out, they're kind of gumming up the works. In his book, Honeybee Democracy, he wrote, one difference between age scientists and age bee scouts, though, is that the people tend to drop out of the debate reluctantly, sometimes not until death, whereas the bees do so automatically. I cannot help but wonder whether science would progress more rapidly if, in this regard, people behaved a bit more like bees. So if people just weren't so stubborn sometimes with certain things, but then you have to be.
Yeah, I mean, their decisions are a hell of a lot. Obviously, it's very simplified.
It's very
when you consider
straightforward,
the bees,
isn't it, really?
It's very straightforward. There's very few things that they have to actually apply this democratic thing to. The structure of the hive, the actually finding a hive, doing this like dance, doing
do
these
they
kind of
elect a new queen, or do they just?
I'm not 100% sure on how the biology of the queen and the drones work. Would have to look into that. But the extent of their democratic debate is new places to live.
Yeah, it's not
hierarchical structure of the hive, whereas a lot of others are a lot harder. Which is why, like I said, you can then because we've got the conscious subconscious divide, and we can make intellectual decisions, we can all decide that person. We have to listen to that person in the room, like much like the bees do. But we can then decide to go, Anna, fuck you. Yeah, no.
And we have a lot more, I think, serious things that people get diehard about, so especially within science, because it takes so long with certain things to actually come up with either a solution or any findings at all. I mean, if you know recently the picture of the black hole and how long it probably took to get that picture, if people just gave up sort of willy-nilly, we probably would have never got that if people weren't so stubborn. So I am thankful that we do have very stubborn and opposing people to the status quo. And with that, Howard, let's move on to my favorite section of the podcast. 3 real, 3 fake. See you there.
Three real and 3 fake.
Okay, everyone, welcome to the second and my personal favorite section of the podcast, 3 real, 3 fake. Howard, are you ready to test your detective skills against my headline creation mind?
I'm ready.
Well, with that, let's move on to our first one. Crane operator arrested after leaving ex-wife's car on helicopter landing pad 300 stories up. Is that real or fake? Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. After leaving ex-wife's car, which was car found on helicopter landing pad. Sorry. Real or fake?
Real.
You want to say that one's real?
I can taste the bitterness.
British farmer set to import Nazi-engineered cows in preparation for Brexit. Real
Fake.
or fake? You want to say that one's fake?
Only because I don't want to think about the alternative. Goddamn Nazi cows.
German graffiti artist MadC fined €3,000 for distracting drivers with racy artwork after 32 crashes in 3 weeks.
It's Germany, real.
Real or fake? Real. Family home stinks of rotten flesh due to portal to spiritual world in lounge.
Real.
Real? You want to say that one's real?
Yeah.
All right. The next one is Japanese tech company unveils revolutionary multi-purpose safe for work sex toy to investors. Real or fake?
That's real. I know that's real.
And my last one, brown bear serving prison sentence in human jail for grievous bodily harm, released after 15 years. I think you only have fake left.
Yeah, fake.
So, let's start off. Brown bear,
Brown
real.
bear.
The brown bear serving
When
15
was
years.
this?
It actually was released a few days ago.
No, it wasn't. Fuck you.
It was. It was released a few days ago.
I'm
All of these stories that I've gathered are from like the past week. My next one is crane operator who put his ex-wife's car in a helicopter pad was fake.
Oh,
That was a fake one.
I thought I could taste the bitterness of that story.
I know. Well, while I was writing it, I was like, yes, this is gonna fool everyone.
One day.
The British farmer set to import a Nazi-engineered cow in preparation for Brexit is real.
What?
Is real.
By that, do you mean it was a Nazi scientist that engineered a cow like in the 40s or whatever, and it's a species, you can't just kill them all because that's what the Nazis would do?
We'll get to that.
Yeah, I think I figured out the story.
We'll just skip that one. German graffiti artist MadC being fined €3,000 is fake. She is a real German graffiti artist, but she has not been fined €3,000. Family home stinks of rotten flesh due to portal to spiritual world in lounge is real. Which is,
Of course it is.
I was saying just before we started this section, I stopped myself from saying something because I was going to say, Howard, I have found a story that you will love. And I knew that you'd get it straight away. And last but not least, Japanese tech company unveils revolutionary multipurpose safe for work sex toy to investors is fake.
Damn it.
It may be real. It may be real in some capacity.
To be real, but How's that not real?
It may be real in some cases, but not in mine. I didn't find an article
Damn
about
it.
it. So it is not real. So
I love it
let's-
when they do weird shit.
Let's start off with this brown bear
All right.
called Ekaterina.
Ooh.
Or Katya for short.
Ekaterina or
Katya. Or Steve.
Those are two different names.
Or Katya for short. Was sent to Castano Penal Outpost in 2004. It is a penal colony for inmates serving less than 25 years.
Wait, where was this?
This was in Kazakhstan, I think.
I believe you now.
I think it is. I may have taken it out, actually, on accident.
I believe you more now.
Kostani. Penal colony. So a penal colony or exile colony is a settlement used to exile prisoners and separate them from the general population by placing them in a remote location, often an island or distant colonial territory.
Jesus.
She was sent there for 15 years after she was found guilty of maiming two people at a campsite on 2 separate occasions.
I'm sure you're just a lovely bear,
I love you.
but I can't let the name of the law slip. I'm gonna have to arrest you and put you in a cell.
You're a very hairy man.
Oh, sorry, ma'am.
Oh, sorry,
It
Katya.
says here it's Katya.
Damn it.
My apologies.
She was sentenced to
madam.
15 years in this penal colony. In total, the prison holds 730 dangerous criminals. She had she was living kind of the lap of luxury though. She had a 2-cell cage with its own
I was going
swimming
to say,
pool.
I'm assuming they couldn't put other cellmates with her or near her.
They tried to put a bunk bed. No, I'm joking.
They tried to put a bunk bed, but she ate it.
But now it's in the swimming pool along with the bodies. She was looked after by inmates as well, who apparently
Scared shitless.
apparently already miss her. They already miss her.
No one misbehaved in that prison. No one tried to escape.
Nope.
It's amazing.
With Corporal Catcher on the case, she's gonna catch her.
Oh,
She was kind of living the lap of luxury here. However, unlike other prisoners, Catcher wasn't allowed a conjugal visit. She wasn't allowed any visitors.
That's not fair.
I know. They couldn't find a desk big enough for her, to be honest, I'm afraid.
They could have found a nice man bear for her.
So the jail's deputy head of educational work, Azmat Gatbozov, sorry about butchering your name,
Glad you are pronouncing this, not me.
said earlier this year before her release, sadly, we cannot take a male bear to her. If only we could make artificial insemination.
We tried,
Which
but Steve's gone now.
she ate him. But after 15 years, she is being freed and rehomed in a mini zoo at a recreational centre.
I'm envisioning the tiniest,
It's
tiniest
just a little
zoo.
zoo.
Just on the end of a needle.
On the end of a cliff.
Oh.
At a recreation centre where she is promised more freedom. I didn't even write the name of the...
How did they negotiate promising freedom to a bear?
a lot of
If you be
dead
really,
volunteers.
really good, we will give you a little space to live in. And the bear's just...
Bites his hand off and he goes, see, that's not the attitude
That's
we're
not what
looking
we're
for
looking
at our
for.
mini zoo. She will need to go through rehabilitation before being let loose, however, to make sure she has changed her ways. She faces a medical examination and a long adaptation period, said a jail spokesman.
Bear.
The bear will be taught to live in the conditions that are almost natural.
But not quite.
So at the minute, she has been freed, but she is apparently mixing with the bears pretty well. So she's separate, but I think they've got sort of bars between
I assume
them.
at this point she's like, thank fuck.
Those humans were getting so bland.
Those weird hairless bears and their weird
Constant
society.
Petting.
I do not understand these weird animals.
Valentina Dmitrienko,
That sounds about right.
Dmitrienko, head of Abskino
Sounds about wrong.
Recreation Center. So it's yes, recreation center said a male bear, Yashka, not Yashika, Yashka, was very happy to see her. He put his paw right through his cage, hugged her, and kissed her like a human. Which in my head, I'm just assuming him getting on his two hind feet, grabbing her face between the bars, and just going.
Well, the thing is, I assume they're both quite domesticated at this point. He probably has a fucking carer, and there's like that's a very human thing. He's been shown by humans.
He gets kissed a lot.
He gets rewarded if he gives the human a smooch instead of tearing his face off.
Gets a bit weird when they start to use tongue, though. We were all happy for such a warm welcome, and everyone was touched by such a meeting. The mini zoo now has 3 bears. Wolves.
It's getting a bit crowded.
I know it's getting a bit crowded in this little zoo. Wolves, a camel, a pony, a donkey, and a yak, all in one little enclosure.
Christ.
And it's just it's a gambling game, whichever one survives at the end of the day.
I'm not liking the odds for that yak.
No, I'm not liking the odds for that bear. That yak seems dangerous.
All day, yakety 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 yak.
Which actually locals can pay 200 tenge or 40 pence to visit Catcher. If you're ever interested and you're in the area of this...
I won't be, but it's nice to pretend.
Abshino, which I think is in Kazakhstan. I could be completely wrong. Or Afghanistan. It's one of them, or I'm completely wrong.
One of the A's.
Or it's or Alaska. She's somewhere, basically. She's somewhere. She's free. And lastly, just to round off this story, with Catcher being one of the most famous inmates, they built a yellow statue of her outside. There's a nice yellow bear statue, which you can see if you want to check out the article.
What material have you made that out of?
Cheese.
It's yellow. No, but what yellow material?
Cheese.
Yes.
Bejamov. Well, let's move on to our next one. I'm saving the best for last. The British farmer who's importing a Nazi-engineered cow in for preparation for Brexit. So this is Derek Gow. You may already know this guy, or not.
I don't think so.
54 from Lifton, Devon, who owns a farm but fears that the farming industry will struggle after Brexit. So to combat this, he's creating a safari. Which includes animals. Which
includes my Nazi cows.
I branded them, you see.
There, you can see the
So the safari includes wild boar, English wildcats, and a herd of heck cows. Now these are the ones that we're.
Heck.
We wanted to. Heck, the fucking off
heck.
again.
No, that's a cow.
It is a cow. Wait, let me. And I mean,
thanks for that.
Well, you'll see what I mean in a second. So Derek said, the reason we're doing it is because farming is becoming increasingly uneconomic. Without the EU subsidiaries, if we continue to farm, we would be unprofitable. And heck cows are a result of German zoologist brother Heinz and Lutz Heck.
Of course.
Who were commissioned by the Nazis.
Heinz und Leck.
These cows are huge, horned, and aggressive, and are believed to be the closest living relative.
Oh, yeah.
Bastard. To be the closest living relative to the aurochs. The aurochs were a wild species of bull that once roamed Britain's countryside. But
I actually knew that, surprisingly.
So let me just preface this with saying that this article is pretty clickbait by just saying it's Nazi
because
engineered.
I clicked on it and was disappointed.
Yes, I was baited horribly. So Derek continues, the cows are very large. They resemble cave paintings. So if you want to imagine sort of the...
They're very large, but very flat.
I didn't expect that when I got the flat pack.
Didn't think they'd be all red either.
Oh, gross. The Nazis want... Actually, no, that's pretty good, isn't it? Cows are red meat, are they? Oh, they just don't have any skin.
Oh.
Delicious.
The perfect animal.
The Nazis wanted to go out and hunt them. That's why they were made. So I guess I don't have them in Germany. So then they engineered them there to actually...
So they took some like native wild cows from England,
Probably and inseminated them with
Nazi
cows.
technology.
Just grow a cyborg eye. Grass detected.
Yeah.
I mean, moo.
That's not as good.
You just have-
Don't suspect a thing.
Did that cow just say anything? No.
No.
He now has 13 of them on his land to start breeding them. However, one had to be put down after they tried to kill one
Because
of
he
his
was a
staff.
Nazi. It's a bit on the nose, isn't it?
Just a bit. We're starting. Oh, blah, blah, blah. We're starting it all now. The safari will be operational next year, so you can actually go to this safari when it's operational next year. I think.
And when do you get to shoot the cows?
When it opens next year.
I assume this is the point of the safari.
Yeah, well, it's a duck hunt.
Take your anger out on these Nazi cows I
Nazi
got.
cows.
One at a time. I gotta breed more.
Go on. It takes a while. Just 6 months for your turn. It's been an awful lot of work, but I hope people will find it interesting, he said. But Derek over here is not just a farmer. He's not just your run-of-the-mill farmer.
No.
Slash safari owner.
Oh, yes.
He is actually renowned for his work for reintroducing animals into nature.
Just like these Nazi cows. I put them
I'll
right
bring
back
them
in
back.
nature.
There you go. Bit unnerving when they start saluting everywhere, though. Yeah, he's actually renowned for his work. He began breeding. He
began breeding.
He began breeding the cows.
Lovely.
He began captive breeding and reintroduction of water voles, and played a key role in the return of beavers to Britain.
Oh, cool.
He even had a briefing for ministers about the potential reintroduction of British wildcats, in hopes that they could help cull grey squirrels.
And children.
Out past 10, you're dead.
This land is for the cats now.
Get out.
Oh, no, now they're fighting with the Nazi cows.
Oh, what have I done?
It's World War III, is.
Back to the safari. Love taking out my anger.
I feel so very zen.
I ran out, though. I'll have to go wrangle up a few more. But yeah, so this is called the grey squirrels, as you may know, came from America and who have driven out native red squirrels from most of the country. Speaking at the time, he said forestry...
The adorable bastards.
I hate them all. He just dresses up as a cat.
I hate their cute faces.
It's just Derek dressed up as a cat, just biting squirrels.
Oh, God.
I've gone a little insane.
You seen my Nazi cows?
Speaking at the time, he said forest organisations were very keen on the idea of bringing the wildcats back. So if you're interested, the safari should be open next year. Bring your grey squirrels.
What kind of wildcats did it mention?
Just British wildcats. So the British variety that I don't know.
The ones with the little top hats and the monocles, of course.
Oh, yes.
And cup of tea, what?
What? And
Cheerio, pip, pip.
just bites into his leg. I'm not a squirrel. He just
How about you? Get back, I say.
He's dressed in a full squirrel outfit just to train them. Well, with that one, let's move on to my favourite of the favourite section. Family home stinks of rotten flesh due to portal to spiritual world in
Now,
lounge.
when you say due to, is it just a dead body of rotting meat? It's not actually a portal to the underworld.
It's just their neighbour. It's this portal.
That's the official police statement. It was just, right, we found a portal to the underworld. Didn't have smell of rotten fish, though.
Drop my flashlight in there. Fuck. It's just...
I'm going to have to put my hand in now. I have to put my hand into the underworld.
Into
to
this
my
underworld.
Flashlight.
It's pretty disgusting. Been
I
here
don't
3
know
weeks.
why we're still in Devon. Where's this?
Have you been to my
I'm
safari?
assuming it's America.
No.
Oh!
This is actually in Flint, North Wales. So we're in Wales.
Going all the way to Wales now.
Are you sure he's not dead? She just,
No,
it's a portal.
He's a
just shoves his
portal
hand
to
up his
the
arse.
underworld, you see. Oh, yes.
Sounds like a euphemism to me.
No, he loves it. It's his new job.
He's dead.
No. He's a portal.
He's dead.
Portal.
Dead.
Portal to
Dead.
the underworld. I don't know what accent. I'm going Irish now.
He's dead. And then she just goes, he's dead, and then just kills the other person. We've got 2 portals.
Now we got 2 portals to the underworld.
I can now play my favourite game in real life.
Look,
Just starts jumping on them both.
just like puts a bunch of dead bodies. Portal twister.
Left hand on Greg. I'm still alive.
Oh, that's done it.
Kitchen knife through Carrie. So this is a story of Steph Harper and her husband Colin, who live.
So which one's the portal?
Howard, you should never speak of a woman that way. They live in Flint, North Wales, with their 4 children: Harvey, 14, Thomas, 9, Paisley, 7, and oh, did I say Charlie? I meant Thomas. Thomas, 9, and Charlie, whose age does not get mentioned at all.
Because he's a
in this.
portal.
Because he's the portal. This is my son. I feed him. She just drops some food.
Oh, we're very proud.
He's growing bigger every day.
He's a portal, you see.
He's not dead.
I'm
He's a portal.
I'm still stuck in Devon. I can't get out. Help.
I think I'll stay. Yeah, but there's no age for Charlie. Poor Charlie. He's got no age. But by the picture, all 3 of the youngest seem to be about the same age. So I think he's probably around about 7 or 8 or 9, or he's 23. No one can know. Steph claims there's a portal to the spiritual world in the living room. She says the house is a hotbed of paranormal activity, with unexplained bangs, strange smells, and spooky visions now the norm.
Spooky visions.
Including one incident of rotten flesh smell. This story is actually a lot of quotes, so I'll be reading as Steph for most of this piece. So if you hear me reading in first person, it's not me.
In the paranormal, the rotten flesh or rotten fish, rotten meat kind of smell is
normal.
Is apparently it's quite common. It's quite common that you get. Sometimes it'll be quite sweet scents and stuff. Like this is all.
Love the smell of
This
rotten
isn't
flesh.
Yeah, this is all. This isn't. None of this is proven. This is. I'm just a bit of. I've always loved like the paranormal rubbish.
I'll go through my phases with that. I like sort of. Have you seen those videos where it's like pictures of ghosts?
I like the theories and stuff. I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, but I do like all the theories, and I like the idea of ghosts. It's a really cool concept that some genius came up with at some point in history. Which
I love
is
it.
Cool.
I love it.
Yeah, but yeah, rotten smells, things like that are quite common. Yeah,
Well, hopefully not where I live.
but I don't know about portals to the underworld. So.
No. Let's learn about it. They moved into the 2-bedroom house in 2008. She goes on to describe their first experience with this paranormal activity. It was just... I'm not going to do a Welsh accent. It was just me and Harvey. It was just me and Harvey in the house at the time. And he was tucked up in bed. All of a sudden, I hear all this violent banging coming from his room. He was having an affair. No, I ran upstairs and found him fast asleep in the bed. Oh, in his bed. They may have separate beds.
I hope.
But the weird thing, that's where the portal goes. But the weird thing was, the bed had been pulled down about 2 feet away from the wall where it usually was. Now looking back, I realised it was the beginning of the haunting. It's just really Colin is just stretched up and pushed the bed. He's a sleep stretcher. Portal, my little.
Did that with just his legs.
My little portal, I call him. Later.
Did half smell though.
Fucking hell. Later in November 2009, she was convinced she was living with something otherworldly. It was in between Christmas and New Year, and we heard a few loud knocking noises that couldn't be explained. It didn't sound like our house. You get used to the noises your house makes.
Someone else's house in my house.
It sounded like Carrie down the street's house. Why is she here?
Get out of here.
The bangs kept getting louder and louder,
Villain.
closer and closer. In the end, we went to my mum's house that night, and it followed it. No.
Why you bring that here? Get out of my house, you bastards.
The next day, Colin did some investigating and started tapping different parts of the house upstairs to see where the noise was coming
Strange
from.
things was he did it with his wiener. Just going around.
Not this.
It's not. Oh, you've got a haunted chestnut tree.
In the bedroom. Where did this come
No,
from?
I'm in the garden now. Put it away.
I'm in the front yard. I'm over at Sarah's house.
That's me just checking the walls.
Her walls.
Oh.
Or...
I think she might be a portal.
When he started banging on the banister, it made the exact same sound. And that's when we knew something unseen had been making the
did
sound
something echo?
right from the top of the stairs.
Something echoed the noise.
Well, he just started tapping the banister, and it was the sound that they heard.
Oh, that was the sound they'd been hearing.
Yeah, so they'd heard the banister being smacked. Steph says that since then they have had so many different experiences with the supernatural, it's hard to recall them all. Colin had his work phone go missing once. We blitzed the whole house looking for it,
They blew up the house.
but it was no show.
Oh, it's in my back pocket.
The-
We blew up the house.
Just standing around rubble, and he goes, "I found it." Everyone, yeah.
Yeah, oh, shit.
Shit. Then 6 months later, there was a T-shirt thrown on the floor, and I lifted it up, and there was Colin's phone right by the bedroom door. Somewhere we'd walked past loads of times since it had gone missing. I missed that shirt. No, she didn't say that.
So, they kind of are they acknowledging that they were just completely blindsided and didn't see the shirt? Or
I hope that the
the
shirt,
shirt was
wasn't there
never
the
there.
day before, and then it was just the shirt was there in
Yeah.
the phone. So my initial thought was your child has stolen your phone, lost it, and found it, and just hid it under a shirt, and was like,
oh my god,
portal. How?
There's a magic portal in the house.
It couldn't have been me. He's the portal searching porn.
That's a horny portal.
God, oh.
No.
Don't talk about your mother like that. Another time, I was in the kitchen and looked outside and saw soldiers who looked like they were from centuries ago marching by with metal helmets and swords pointing to the sky.
I thought that's weird. We're not at war.
Until I started
Oh, and
one.
the ghosts.
The thing is, all of these, I instantly are just I'm coming up with like explanations for these.
I'm assuming that was just a recreation war. Well,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And then he was just like, ghosts! And they're like, we're not ghosts, we're just LARPing.
They speak!
What language is LARPing? Are you having a LARP?
Colin, get the gun!
There's ghosts on the lawn.
All sorts has happened. Even vases flying across a room and smashing. We did consider moving out at one point, but we've learned to live alongside it all. Also, the housing market crashed. We
And the
couldn't
house
afford to.
exploded.
Yeah, oh yeah, the house exploded. I forgot about
Just
that.
living
bit.
on the lawn now.
Earlier this year, they had a pretty bad week where the house started to smell like burning flesh. So Steph and Colin decided to speak to a medium.
Well, let's fight fire with fire, and they set fire to some flesh.
And so they killed themselves and turned themselves into ghosts to
haunt
fight,
the ghosts down
to fight them.
in the most epic time-based crossover ever.
Hell yeah. Ghost encounter of the 15th
Of
kind.
the ever.
Of the Bannister Man.
Oh, that's a cool name for a ghost.
That is it. Bannister Man.
It's actually there's something quite creepy about that. The idea
Bannister
of just
man.
like a face just like peering through like the.
Okay, I don't want to think about this, Howard.
I have an idea for a film.
Scariness. After telling all, as we've already heard, the medium broke the news that Steph has a portal to the spirit world in her living room. The house was built in the 50s or 60s. We've researched the area and we can't find anything connected to the paranormal apart from the fact that we're
Apart from all
very
these
close.
ghosts.
Apart from all these dead bodies.
And this portal to the underworld.
Underground. The fact that we're very close to the ruins of Flint Castle, where there were most likely
Where you're
battles.
most likely to see people dressed up as old-timey soldiers.
Oh, it's all connecting. There were most likely battles where the house stands now, Steph continues. We haven't directly talked to the children about it, but they know for sure some unusual things are going on. But like us, they're not too scared. So they haven't told their children, but they've told the nation.
Don't worry about the giant vortex to the underworld in the living room. Just
Step around
Just
it.
ignore it.
I've put cones down.
It'll ignore you. It's fine.
It's
It's more scared of you than you are of it. See?
Now shut up and eat your peas.
I've been drinking coffee.
It's gravy, mother. All right, we're in the 1880s. Shortly after speaking to the medium, Steph caught one of the ghosts on camera. There's a picture actually blown up from the video in the article. I'll save you a lot of time. It's a blue circle.
An orb.
Yeah, it's a blue orb. She believes.
I don't necessarily believe orbs.
She believes this is proof that ghosts are inhabiting her home. Colin had heard about spirit orbs when spirits can be seen in the atmosphere through a camera. After doing some research and decided to try and catch one on camera. So he read about this online and was like, oh, that's probably it.
Particles are constantly created and demolished at the same time, and things like all kind of weird stuff happens in our universe. So
It's not out the
could be a
realm of
spirit,
possibilities.
or it could just be literally random energy.
I would hope it's a spirit. That's much more cool. But yeah, so it's sort of in the picture. It is. It's a blue orb, and it resembles slightly a face, as it says in the article. I don't think so, but it must do to someone. He was stood there for about 15 minutes, and then we saw it, a blue orb flying up and out across the screen. We blew the photo up after, and you can see a face in the orb. There's no doubt about it.
Except for when you can
You
doubt
doubt it. Not long after, my neighbour and friend, Michelle, 30, came round.
Is that her name or just Michelle 30, her age?
Yeah, Michelle. Hello, I'm Michelle 30. Yeah, no, that's not a door number. She's 30 years old, I assume. Came around and Colin caught another orb on spirit brushing. Colin caught another orb of spirit brushing past her ear. So she came into the house and
Now,
Colin was just like, "Now I'm gonna
Did you say
record
her
you."
ear or her rear?
Her ear.
Yeah, okay.
No, that was just Colin's hand.
That's a ghost.
Oh no!
Oh.
Oh, big ghost.
I'm just gonna have a quick look around. I'll see if I can find any more ghosts. Colin, put it away.
But like, even with that, he's like, Michelle's just come over and he's just filming her because he's got this on film of it brushing past her because they can't see it with their eyes, so they're recording. So
well, you can't catch a ghost if you ain't recording.
well, exactly. That's why I record everything. Everything.
Especially my guests.
So she just so she just comes in and Colin's just like, Michelle, do you mind if I just like put this camera on you to make sure there's no ghosts or anything? And
Can I just film your face?
I want to know what that conversation was like.
Oh, it's a ghost.
DJ Colin, like this is the first mention in the article that he's a DJ. It just says DJ
Either
Colin.
that or DJ is short for
Dynamo
initials.
Justice.
Yeah, Dynamo Justice.
Dynamo Justice Colin, DJC. They hope to communicate with the beings on Halloween. The Halloween just gone.
Yeah.
But I couldn't actually find anything like a follow-up.
They all die.
Yep. After
They opened the portal to the underworld,
and got sucked in.
and it smelled like rotten meat ever since.
Delicious.
Usuals.
After buying some extra kit to help them at this spooky time of year, Steph goes on to say, this Halloween is when the veil between the living and the dead is at its finest.
What was particularly special about this Halloween?
This Halloween?
Yeah.
Probably just, I don't know, maybe they just got up the courage to try and communicate. Maybe they've just never tried before. So she said it's thinnest. So we've bought a dictaphone, a temperature gauge, and a frequency tester to try and help us communicate further.
So they've got what's known as a ghost box.
A ghost hunting kit.
Well, the frequency one is basically what it is a little radio. It scans AM and FM frequencies rapidly, and the idea is that you pick up that the ghost can talk through by finding random words in the stations. Essentially, it's a cool phenomenon to try. I've actually played with one.
And did you speak to anyone beyond the
It's
grave?
entirely random. We did get some weird, like German words or something like that.
Oh,
Some random station, but it's entirely random. The idea is that they're supposed to be able to manipulate the frequency to know exactly which word is on which station and then pull it through.
I think I've actually seen it on one. If you've ever watched BuzzFeed's, I think it's Uncovered or it's Unsolved or one of their shows on BuzzFeed. I think they do take one of these machines to places where there's suspected ghosts, and you can hear sort of little words in between all the static.
Oh, that's is that an EVP though, or is that the ghost?
I'm not
box?
100% sure, but if you
So they've got a dictaphone. Ghost hunters use that for through the white noise. You kind of listen for voices.
I think that might be it. Yeah.
Electrical voice phenomena. So yeah, it is EVP. And it's basically the idea is you won't hear it at the time, but when you play it back, if you listen hard enough, you'll hear responses to your questions and stuff.
Yeah.
I think the heat thing is probably just to determine if there's any cold spots about.
Yeah, so if it
another
gets
phenomenon
extremely
of ghosts.
cold
Yeah.
just in one spot. She said, we'll have some friends round for support and see what happens as the night draws in. In all honesty, I would like to be invited to one of these parties. It sounds very interesting. The idea scares me when I'm home alone, but other than that, it really doesn't bother me. The spirits have never done any harm, apart from throwing a vase across the room, if that would have smacked you dead in the head. In fact, I would love to be able to have a conversation and build a proper relationship with them. After all, who doesn't want to know who they're sharing their house with? Canned laughter. That would be perfect. We may have to check in on this at a later date to see if they were successful, but there's no word on it yet. If anyone does know, feel free to email us.
It'd be great to do a follow-up.
Or tweet us at cluelessnet, or you can email us at podcast@cluelessinter.net if you know anything about these. Steph first dabbled with the paranormal when she was 16 after reading about and trying a Ouija board. She recalled nothing happened, but that night as I tried to go to sleep, a mist came into my room and it manifested as a figure standing over my bed. This is someone who vapes. Bruh. Like they come into your...
Represent.
Although that would be fucking scary just to say. But that's somebody who vapes, I'm afraid. You had a burglary of some sort and to cover his tracks.
Oh my gosh!
Whoa.
I'm gone.
Jumped out the third story window and just go, my leg, I mean... Whoa.
Ghost leg.
It stood there for a good minute before stepping back and disappearing into mist again. I knew 100% what I saw was real, but something stopped me telling people at the time. I didn't want to say anything that would upset or scare anybody. I suppose part of me didn't want to be mocked either. And that's the end of that story.
Boom, 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 boom.
That very paranormal story. I do like the paranormal.
Happy Halloween at the end of November.
Happy Halloween for next year. Welcome to the Halloween special of the Clueless Internet podcast. And with that colossal fuck up of time, let's move on to our next section. Today I fucked up.
Today, I fucked up.
Okay, Herod, are you ready for some fuck ups today? Is everyone at home ready for some fuck ups? I am.
Ready.
What is the first one we're starting with today?
Today I fucked up being Jesus.
Being Jesus?
Yeah.
Legally.
It doesn't say like pretending to be. No, being Jesus.
Being Jesus.
Somehow I fucked it up.
That-
Well, oh shit! There's an underlying theme to this episode. This happened on Halloween.
Ooh, we're real late.
I imagine the evening going down more or less like this. Slip into a white robe. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh,
This
this
started off
has
awful.
already started pretty bad. Please
Put on my cone hat.
grab my lighter. Out the door. Being the opposite
So-
of Jesus.
So, slip into a white robe, stick on a cactus crown, moonwalk out of the house as Jesus.
Hell yeah.
Obvious step.
As he does
Yeah.
in the Bible, if you've read
He-
it multiple
well, how do
times,
you
like
think
everyone
he walked
has.
on water?
Me. I have.
You can't walk on water unless
You
you're
can't walk on
moonwalking.
water. Well, you can't walk on water
It's
forwards.
the less lower gravity.
Has anyone tried walking on water backwards? I don't think so. Try it now.
You might be Jesus.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Good luck.
Remember to never break character.
Ever.
So I immediately hop into an Uber. Show up to celebrate Halloween with friends. Go ham.
Go ham. Create ham.
Go ham, no! Go ham?
Go ham.
I'm
Oh,
not-
means sort of like go hard.
Oh, okay.
Party hard.
Go hard or go ham. And then I go home and go sleep.
And go hard.
It doesn't say go to sleep. It says go home,
Go
sleep.
Well, he's probably drunk as fuck by this point, so less word, better.
And then the final step in this plan of perfection,
Brilliant plan.
go for a job interview in the morning
Ah, okay. So,
with said ham.
as Jesus.
As Jesus and his crown of thorns and his white robe carrying a cross.
Oh, no.
This is what I would have called a good night.
Same.
However, after number 7, which is go ham,
Okay.
things didn't quite go as planned.
Oh.
Here's how shit actually unfolded.
Oh, no.
Well, he hasn't told us otherwise. That was just the plan.
Oh, shit.
Number 8, instead of go home, got shit-faced.
Yes, as Jesus would.
So, yes,
Yep.
here's a whole lot of water. Now it's wine.
Yeah, I saw a joke of it that where it was Jesus sat at a bar and the bartender came up and said, "I'm cutting you off. You can only have water now." And Jesus goes, "Oh no."
I thought he was going to just come up and go, was this some kind of joke?
Choke.
On it, Jesus. So, number 8, instead of going home, I got shit-faced. Number 9, instead of going to sleep, drunk me, drunk Jesus.
Oh, so he skipped bed to be Jesus.
Oh, he's just laugh at the part of me. Number 10,
He
fell.
likes some bread.
I do love bread.
Here's some bread. Fish? Fish?
Oh, the bread's got no bread.
I've lived in a cave.
I slept in a cave for 3 days. Everyone thought I was dead.
But no, Bear Grylls.
So embarrassed. Number 10, I fell into my friend's swimming pool.
and almost drowned after attempting to walk on water.
So he drowned.
No, because number 11, I realised I was wearing all white plus water, which they calls everyone could see me shriveled up Willie in my time is.
Oh, so they saw Jesus' penis.
I'm drunk.
Oh no. Oh no.
Number 12.
Number 12.
Drunk dialing my neighbour's mother in the middle of the night to tell her I'm proof that Jesus is fake as fuck. And I'm gay.
You're what? You're KKKK?
No.
No.
Gay.
Oh, gay.
Apparently I've developed a stutter. Number 13. I unleashed an unholy amount of vomit in the Uber driver's car on the way home. So number 14, I missed my job.
He misses the job interview.
Apparently. I missed my job interview the following day after waking up laughably late. So number 15...
Stuck in a cave for 3 days.
Number 15, stuck in a cave for 3 days.
And died.
But number 16, because I got to come back to life, I realised drunk me and set an alarm on my phone 2 years into the future. It's supposed to be 3 days.
Only 3 days, mate.
For the record, I apologise to my mum. We cool now.
We cool now.
And that's my amazing story.
So the night went well.
Jesus! I mean, Jesus Christ, man. I went down. I'm me.
I walked on water until I got bored and fell in.
And then everyone saw me winning.
That was a brilliant one. I like that.
Well, good story.
Let's move on to our next one. Today I fucked up by not following my morning routine, which I think a few of us have done on the occasion in a rush. But I feel like this was going to be a lot more consequential than as. I felt quite awful about this lie, and I needed a place to say this.
I felt quite awful about this terrible thing I did.
That I've been doing over and over again. Hopefully just once. I have actually read this one, so hopefully just once. This past Friday, my office was in a meeting. Our internal marketing room is designed to fit as many people in there as possible, as we recently hired a bunch of people. And the
fucking staffer in
and the room is too small.
I like to see
So we sit in rows of seats with no desks in front of us, sort of like a school bus, I suppose.
Okay.
My boss is sitting directly in front of me, and with this specific meeting, the back row where I sat was empty except from me. Our CTO, Chief Technological Officer, is the one holding the meeting. So we are all seated listening. Intently listening
In
to the
that
chief
bus.
technic in the bus. He's just trying to point stuff out on a whiteboard, and he's just turning. He's just everyone goes, "Whoa, shit!"
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this bus, which is also an office.
I'll be driving and also giving a presentation while also not driving. So we straight roads from here, I suppose. I was rushed into the meeting and was unable to take my routine morning shit beforehand. As I sit behind my boss, I tried slipping out a silent fart because my stomach began to ache from the huge McDonald's breakfast I ate. Delicious.
Genius,
McDonald's
man.
breakfast. I'm still outraged that they don't have the McDonald's tray breakfast. If anyone remembers this tray breakfast, this is me getting on my soapbox. If anyone remembers this tray breakfast,
Get down, it's slippery up there.
yeah, like, slippery on that grease. The tray breakfast, if you don't know, it used to have scrambled egg. It used to have sausage meat. It used to have a hash brown. It used to get 2. Let me tell you this. The circular egg that you get on the McMuffin today is vastly shit compared to the scrambled egg that you would get with that tray meal. And the first time I went to McDonald's and in the morning and I was told that they weren't there, I was heartbroken. I did nothing and had a McMuffin and cried heavily into it. And I think we should have hashtag bring back the tray muffin. the tray muffin. Hashtag bring back the tray muffin. I'm starting the movement.
They have betrayed me for the last time.
Kill them!
With trays!
Yeah, so that's my little rant over. If we can get that hashtag trending, thank you everyone. Love you. Mwah. Bye. Back to the story. About 10 minutes passed, and I felt something in my boxers touching my inner leg. As my brain completely omitted the fart from earlier, I instinctively think I sat in something. So I slide my hand down, my hand in my boxers. He's just wearing boxers at this point, by the way, nothing else.
No trousers.
Only concerned with being discreet. My next idiotic instinctive move after removing my hand was to sniff it. Well, it was immediately known that I
had
now
poo on my nose.
had shit on my fingers. And just inhaled its smell directly. This caused me to instantly gag, and that too wasn't just gas. I projectile vomit my pancake breakfast up, and it slathers my boss's neck, running down the inside of his collared shirt. Sorry about that. I'm gonna eat that.
Happy Halloween.
Oh, I'm Jesus.
So conscious.
I instantly ran out of the room to the bathroom to wash my hand and clean myself up. I returned to the office and apologized endlessly and then blamed it on the McDonald's breakfast and lied, saying that it must have been undercooked sausage.
And not that I had chaparted my pants.
And not that I'd fingered my ass and smelt my shit-covered fingers. I got the day off and he actually wished me well, unknowing of the fact that I actually threw up on him because my vile self sniffed my own shit. Yeah, you're coming back you're coming back to the office the next day and being called shit stink.
Yeah.
Oh no!
We cannot wait till he comes back.
Finger licking goodness.
Oh.
Oh gosh, that one was a
stink.
roller coaster. So, Howard, you've got two more left. You've got the choice of today I fucked up by accidentally changing my skin color, or today I fucked up by visiting Los Angeles. Los Angeles. You want to do the Los Angeles?
Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yay! I've never been to Los Angeles, so this is going to be my first experience. I'm going to pretend I know nothing of Los Angeles, even though most of my favorite YouTubers are from there, so I actually know quite
I think
a bit
all of
about
our
Los
favorite
Angeles.
YouTubers tend to be from there. Actually,
So I'm going to
nowadays.
pretend I know nothing about it.
El what?
El Capitan?
El Capitan.
Okay. So today I fucked up by visiting Los Angeles. 3 years ago, I went on vacation to Los Angeles, California.
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 Californication.
I went with two friends. We went out one night to some club.
Undescript club.
Yeah, just some undescript club in LA. In walked an absolutely stunning woman.
Oh, a woman.
A Latina girl.
Nice.
Looked to be about 22 or 23. This guy's getting confident. Done up to the nines.
Living on cloud 9. This guy was probably.
Anyway, I went to buy 2 drinks, and by the time the drinks were made, she disappeared into thin air.
So I downed them both.
She was a portal
She
to the
was a
underworld.
ghost. So I pulled out my camera and started recording everyone for Blue Orbs.
Hey, you an orb? Well, it literally just says she disappeared into the air. Thin air. Gone.
Poof.
E.T. Estimated time?
Estimated time,
12 o'clock in the morning. We were all tired because we had been up for nearly 24 hours.
Weak.
So we went home to sleep. I get on Tinder, not making much of it, and start swiping for fun. All of a sudden, I get a super, like,
Oh, you get to super like noise.
notified that someone really liked my profile. I shit you the fuck not.
I wonder who it could be.
It was her. After confirming I was at the same club as her that night, she said she wanted to come and say hi, but her friends dragged her out and kidnapped her.
I'm in the back of a van. Send help.
I really wanted to say hi, but I've been kidnapped.
Yeah.
Lol. JK.
She's just sending all this in Morse code.
Help. She asked me if I want to hang out. And
I said, I've just got into bed.
where were you 10 minutes ago? Oh, it's in the back of a van. It's been abducted
Same.
by aliens.
Ghosts.
With ghosts.
I'm on some really good meds, dude.
The best. She asked me if I wanted to hang out, and I say sure, but I'm not from the area. She picks me up in her BMW M5 2017.
Very nice. That is a car.
Brackets. This was in 2017. End brackets.
Hell yeah.
And we head to the mountains.
The mountains, where
No.
all the murders happen.
Yay! But which one is the murderer?
Mm.
And which one is
Neither.
the portal?
Which one's a portal?
And where is Jesus in all of this?
In the pool.
I
Drunk.
have so many questions.
Getting his penis out in a pool.
It's a bit small.
As we all do.
Estimated time, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Fuck.
We're just chilling, and I'm visibly exhausted. So I don't even try to make a move. And I'm like, yeah,
I pass out.
I should probably head home. And she says, why not come over to my place?
We haven't just driven to your place this whole time. What? Why are we in the mountains again?
Well, me being as horny as fuck as I am, I say, okay.
Sure, why not?
On the way to her house, I fell asleep for like 2 hours.
2 hours?
It's like 2
How
hours,
fucking
man.
far is her house?
Dude, I think I'm getting murdered.
Jesus, yeah.
I woke up and thought, wait, we're still driving?
Wait, this isn't my apartment.
Who are you? What, foot lettuce?
Burger King foot lettuce.
We're still driving. I asked where she lived, and she said San Francisco. She was driving me 8 hours away from my friends.
What the fuck?
Again, I'm very horny. So I go
Very.
back to sleep to conserve my energy.
Smart guy. I like it.
Genius. Okay, you just get yourself ready. I'm just going to...
8 hours?
San Francisco.
LA? Ghosts!
Estimated time, 11 o'clock in the morning. I wake up to the smell of fire.
Fire.
I prefer breakfast
I look down. I have no bottom half.
because it's on fire.
Crispy.
But
I'm in a house in Flint, Wales. My burning flesh filling the room.
why is this house exploding?
Put your penis away, man.
I am Jesus.
I'm trying to tap
Then in
the,
that case,
I'm trying to tap
thank
the
you.
board. I am Bannister Man.
Colin. I wake up to the smell of fire and see smoke coming out of the side of her car.
She's broken it.
She's run a flat tire. It exploded and was just smoking.
Fucking, what was in this tire? Ash.
Kerosene, apparently. We pulled over on the highway and had sex in her back seat. And,
Oh, yeah, did.
and then called tow.
And then call. Well, yeah, you don't want to
Think-
call it because then you've got a time
Well,
limit.
you got to think ahead, man. You got to think ahead. Turns out her credit card had recently been stolen and she was waiting for the new one.
Fucking hell.
She tells AAA to cancel the truck and Googles the nearest tire shop. Coincidentally, it's 2 miles up the road.
So we buy one.
So
and
I
roll
walk
back.
my ass down the road to buy a tire.
Oh no.
With her money, of course.
Yeah. Still, fuck.
Walk back and change a tire. So that was 11 a.m. This is 1 p.m.
1 p.m. It's the afternoon now.
The next day,
Yeah.
we finally get to her house, or as I like to say, San Francisco.
San Francisco. Just lives outside.
We're on her driveway, or as I like to say,
San Francisco.
This isn't LA. We're on her driveway, and she says, "Oh, I forgot to tell you. Long story short, I was
This is San Francisco.
Francisco." I said, "This is Detroit."
Become human.
Long story short, I was adopted when I became human. My adopted parents got a divorce. And my adopted mother ended up marrying this super racist guy.
Oh. Yeah.
He's a Confederate and he owns guns.
Oh.
You need to sneak into my bedroom without him seeing because he will shoot.
Fucking fuck. This guy is dedicated.
Yeah, so he just basically, it just says super racist guy, so I don't think he's particularly choosy in who is racist against.
Yes. He's not a picky man.
I thought she was lying to me. I walk into the house and see 4 large Confederate flags.
And I get shot immediately.
4? Why is there 4?
For each wall?
And a wall of vintage guns.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not sure whether that means he's got a gun rack, or if it's a wall made of guns.
Or he's got a nice set of tits.
I like to think it's a wall made of guns.
I like to think it's a nice set of tits.
I like to think that about a lot of things. There was also Jesus Christ, there was also a pistol on the dinner table.
Fucking hell, just in case.
And her psycho stepfather was walking around on the phone smoking a cigarette. I book it into her room. Excuse me, I'd like a table for 3. But finally, I felt safe. I'll take the red wine.
Bread,
I love bread.
Thank you. I can't actually afford the main meal. Just keep that coming.
She's lost her card.
Oh, fuck.
Estimated
I
time.
stole it.
Estimated time 2 p.m. She talks to her stepdad and tells him that she has to study, so he shouldn't bug her. We're smashing now.
Smashing out that homework.
It's a very British sentence. We're now smashing.
Smashing.
Absolutely smashing.
Ginger ale everywhere.
So we're smashing again, and her dad, this guy's a bit, and her dad knocks on the door. He tells her that he's going to the grocery store. We move into the living room. We're just going to rub our junk all over everything, apparently.
Might as well.
We start smashing for a 3rd time.
Yeah.
I see a Confederate flag.
Well, this would be the 4th. Oh no, 3rd time. Yeah. Yeah.
3rd time. First time with a Confederate flag. And I know she hates him at that point, so I pull the flag down and we're having sex on his flag.
Hell yeah, dude. Nice.
My plan was to put to nut on his flag and hang it up. Sorry, Reddit users, don't get but hurt. I was a kid. Wait, what?
I was of legal age, I hope, because he got into a club. So in America, he must have been 21.
All of a sudden, I heard a back door open.
Uh-oh.
And it wasn't.
And it wasn't hers.
You took the joke right out of my mouth. The
You didn't take it out of hers.
Well, he had to if he wanted to get on the flag. This motherfucker came home early, and he sees me clear as daylight. Bloody hell, you're bright.
Fucking hell.
Whoa!
You're just glowing.
You having sex with an angel? He charges to his car.
Wait, is he talking about his daughter or the guy?
Dad? The dad charges back to his car.
Uh-oh.
I charge to her room, and she charges after her stepdad to slow him down.
So they're
It's
all
okay.
charging
I'm great at stopping cars.
with my face.
She runs upstairs to me and gives me $300 and tells me to catch a cab back.
Hell yeah.
Wait, she had no money earlier and now she's got $300.
Where did she get the street? Probably his stash.
Quick, get out of here.
He's got a minigun.
Here's $300. I get dressed as quickly as possible and he picks up the flag, picks up a revolver and comes to her room.
Oh my gosh.
He's banging on the door, I assume waving his flag. Cum going everywhere.
Well, if he's got a flag in one hand, he's got the gun in the other. The only logical explanation is that he's constantly headbutting the door.
Well, if he's got a flag in one hand and a pistol in the other, my question is,
this the one with cum on it?
where's he put his beer?
In his belly.
On his belly.
He's balancing it.
To be fair, before this section of the story even came up, I was assuming he had a bit of a pot belly. Just assuming.
I hope so.
Yeah. He's banging on the door as I getting my clothes on. As I getting my clothes on.
Less words, more speed.
And before I get my shoes on, and he is screaming. I open her bedroom window, climb onto her roof, and the moment he breaks the door down, I jump into the pool.
Oh my! That's probably worse than falling on the floor, if I'm being honest. Because
lucky there was a goddamn pool there.
Yeah. Jesus, what are you doing here?
Who
San
put this
Francisco.
pool here? I quickly looked up and saw him see me in the pool. He shouted down that he was going to come down and shoot me. I hopped her fence, and that was the last time I ever saw the crazy fucking lady again.
Well, it wasn't really her that was crazy. It was her dad.
No.
Oh, my God.
4 p.m., I have the $300 she gave me, but keep in mind, I just jumped into a pool. My cell phone is dead and likely damaged, and I'm looking for a cab. I'm fucking soaking wet. The mud is soaking wet. Also, I don't even know the fucking address of the place my friends are staying, and by this point, they've definitely called the police trying to find me.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so.
I stick my thumb out on the highway, and a van pulls over with some frat guys in it. I tell them what happened, and they say, sleep in the back, we're literally headed that way now.
Dude, don't worry, it's San Francisco.
We'll take you right here as well.
We're only going 10 minutes down the road, though.
Are you?
He's just saying that to another frat guy who's in there.
Oh, dude,
Are you?
your face is like Tully on your neck.
Whoa, you got like a nose.
Can I have it?
Please.
Are you gonna eat that?
You probably shouldn't have gone and spanned it.
At 1 a.m., I wake up and the van stopped. Where the hell am I? Why the hell did I get into another stranger's car for 8+ hours?
Yeah?
I look out the window of the trunk and my heart stops. I told them
Out of the trunk? Why is he in the trunk?
Apparently, I'm guessing he's sleeping in the trunk.
Maybe.
I told them I needed to go to LA, but I see a sign that says San Diego, California.
Oh no, he's gone back to... Oh no,
He's back in Cali. He's back in Cali.
Oh, he's in Cali. Okay.
But now he's in San Diego.
Okay, I thought he was back in San Francisco for a second.
To make matters worse, they had a phone charger in the car, and I completely forgot to charge my phone.
Oh, well, it was damaged with water.
Well, probably. I walk into the San Diego International Airport and check flights to Los Angeles. There was one. Price? $295.
Hell yeah.
Jack.
Perfect. $5 for a ramen.
I flew back to LA, had $5, my passport, a dead cell phone battery, and the worst smelling clothes you could imagine.
So he got out of this story with $5 extra.
Hey, 8 a.m.
And he came on a Confederate flag.
8 a.m. He ended up finding a McDonald's near the town when he was in.
Oh, hell yeah. I hope they had trays.
Asking people for a cell phone and getting one and going on to Facebook and messaging my friends, they send me the address and I walk the 5 miles. 10 a.m. I knock on the door, they open it, and I tell them to get ready. I've got a story that you're not gonna effing believe, bro. Brosicles.
You're gonna have to take a seat. Oh, what a great fucking story.
That's the end.
What an awesome outcome for that guy.
Not Flagman.
Not Flagman. Bannister Man.
Bannister Man.
Is over. What a fucking sick story. I like that. As I say, he got out of that with $5. He got out of that with $5. He got to take an 8-hour drive to mountains. Not die 2 times, because she could have killed him easily in that mountain, and the dad could have shot from the window. And he got home with the McDonald's. I see that as a win-win.
Absolutely.
Pussy and McDonald's. Hell yeah, dude.
Pussy Donald's.
Pussy Donald's. I'm pretty sure that's a t-shirt somewhere. So, let's move on.
Either that or McPussy.
McPussy. Hell yeah. Let's move on to our last Today I Fucked Up. Today I fucked up by accidentally changing my skin color. This happened 2 years ago in October 2017. My birthday had just passed, and I had gotten some gift cards to my favourite store, Lush, if you know Lush.
Lush, I know it, yes.
I had been on the mend from one surgery and still house-ridden until my neck surgery, so I was excited to get Halloween bath bombs as a pick-me-up. I didn't even intend all these to be sort of Halloween-themed, but happy Halloween!
God be with you. Yes.
God bless.
And with you.
And with you, as we are in your ears. Scrolling through the Lush Halloween products, knowing I had gift card money, was like sending a fat kid into a candy store. Not once did I read how to use any of the products. Why would I? It's a bath. I just drop the bath bomb or bubble bar in there.
Excuse me?
A bubble bar.
A bubble bar.
You get your own bartender.
Fancy.
Soak in my own filth for 30 minutes and listen to music.
That's about right.
Mistake number 1. So the day finally comes that my Lush products get delivered, and I hobble my crippled, surgery-recovering ass to open the door. Goth Fairy is the one I chose to go with that day. Now, like I said, I didn't read the description. Maybe it was the pain meds, or maybe I'm that much of a dumbass, but I mistook it for a bath bomb, when in reality, it was a body tint. So my dumbass starts making the bath and is all excited. Once the tub is full, I notice the bath bomb isn't really melted. I figured it just needed more time and plopped my ass down in the tub. I'm just sitting there watching shit on my laptop, playing on my phone at the same time, and I noticed
Waiting for fucking,
it's in the
there's
bath.
a disaster waiting to happen.
It's just she's getting electrocuted as she's on
Let's
the
bring
laptop.
all the electrics in here.
I brought my toaster.
Here's a heater. I'll tape it to the toaster and stick some knives in there.
There you go. You could go nicely in the corner.
Oh, murder.
So yeah, she's on her phone and her laptop, and I noticed it's still not melting. What does my dumbass decide to do? You're being very negative about yourself, mystery person.
Well,
Let me rub the fucking product
I'll be the judge
all
of that.
over me because it will make my skin super soft.
And the smell of the noise.
Now, I start to notice that yes, the product is melting, but my skin is purple and very sparkly. I also notice the white porcelain tub is filled with sparkles.
And is now purple.
Now, some of you may be thinking, you were house-ridden. This fuck-up can't be that bad. No one would see you. To which I would say, you obviously have never lived with an Italian mother or grandmother. Here I am, 23 at the time, year-old woman, crying in a bathtub because A, I don't know how I'm going to get these motherfucking sparkles out of this motherfucking tub before my mom sees I've ruined her pristine bathroom, and B,
I'm fucking purple.
I've turned myself into a Twilight character. I try calling my boyfriend, but he's in class. I text my 2 best friends, and they just laugh at me and ask for pics of me naked in the tub.
I am grape flavored.
Want a lick of my new purple skin. I drain the water and vigorously scrub away at the sparkly residue left on the tub. I try to scrub my skin in the shower, but the purple sparkle tint will not come off.
I just spread it around more.
I just lay on the floor and cried in purple.
Somehow I got more purple. It was not.
I get out of the shower and research the product. Here is where I find out that not only is it a body tint, but you're only supposed to use 1/3 of it at a time. I also notice at this point that everything I am coming into contact with is turning glittery when I touch it. I finally called my mom in panic. First thing she said was, my fucking tub better not be ruined.
Of you shite.
When I assured her that the tub was fine, my only response was full-on hysterical laughter for the remainder of her drive home. When she got home, she texted my family members about it, who branded me with the nickname Sparkles. The purple and glittery tint lasted for over 2 fucking weeks. I ruined 4 pairs of pajamas, many pairs of underwear, and a set of sheets with my glitter.
But I got the part in the Willy Wonka play.
So all's
I will be
that
violent.
ends well. I get to watch children die on camera. 2 years later, and my boyfriend, family, and friends still call me Sparkles. I still love Lush, though. What a nice end to a very glittery story.
How very nice.
How very nice.
I'm sure once you got over the initial shock, you saw the lighter
Yeah,
side of it. It
yeah.
was like, I'm purple.
I mean, it could have been worse. You could have fried to death
Yeah.
with Sparkles.
Yeah, let's go with pin purple. I'm going to stick to pin purple.
I'll take being purple.
Yeah.
Well, that'll do for this week. How did you find these facts?
These
Takes and
were
fuck-ups.
amazing.
I loved them. They were brilliant. Turn the microphones off. Fucking hell, that was shit.
Thank you very much, Alex.
Yeah, so that'll do it for this episode. Check out all the links and everything at cluelessinter.net. Follow us on Twitter at cluelessnet to keep up to date when these episodes come out. You can follow this podcast on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. And if there's anywhere else you want us to send these podcasts, do let us know at our email, podcast@cluelessinter.net. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Thank you for listening.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
It's a mosquito go.
80,000 what? Pounds.
1.21 gigawatts.
I didn't have the 5%.